Hey there, precious meddlers. Liberty Bleeds here. Hope you guys are all doing great. It's vintage silver today. My top five. Hope you guys can hang out because, wow, we got it all. Engelhard, Johnson Matthey, A-Mark, Hoffman and Hoffman, Sunshine Mining. I have a special honorable mention here. Also, a sixth category and another extra rabbit hole to go down. All right, here we go. Yeah, my top five vintage silvers to collect with bonuses and extras and honorable mentions. Let's start. First, Engelhard. Yeah, that one right there. This is my only 10-ounce Engelhard bar. It's a pressed stamped bar. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Picked that up from Patriotic Stacker in the community here. Love that thing. You may know, what is vintage silver? Let's start with that. Vintage. What does vintage mean? Of age. That's like the Latin translation, of age. So I would say anything below 2000, 25 years and beyond old would be called vintage. It's kind of arbitrary, but most people in the community would say, yeah, before 2000 for sure, maybe even 1990 or earlier. But here's the Engelhard Prospectors. I have some that are loose. Very, very popular. That's 86. It belongs in this capsule, and also 82. So let's see, we've got the 82. Oh, and of course the original lollipop wrapper. I've got one of those in the 84. And as we get into these, you're going to notice that the backs are a little bit different. There's lots of varieties and different nuances with all this vintage silver. There's an 83. You got the big E, we call that. The big E on the back. Well, that capsule's loose. Yep, the 84. That one, so some of these years, I think it's the 83 through 85 have the big E. I could be wrong, but let's see, do I have another 85? Let's see, 85. What is that? No, that's the 82. So it's the 82 through the 84. I believe they have big E's possibly. There's also different fonts, larger. The waters are a little different on some of them. But yeah, the Engelhard Prospectors are very, very cool and fun to collect. And they're pretty easy to get. Absolutely. And Engelhard didn't stop there. I also picked this up, or Stacker Factor sent me a bar. I sent him one piece of silver back. And yeah, I love this. He knows that I like vintage silver. And thank you so much, Stacker Factor. Another great member in the community here. Engelhard, yeah. Look at the toning on this thing. Isn't that crazy? Very cool. That's an older one, of course. Here's another FM series. Engelhard. Yep, these are the pressed bars. I really like those. Let's see what else. So then we move on to Johnson Matthey. And I've got A, B, and C here. That goes with that. Let's see, serial numbers. A, B, yeah, B9, 804, and C in the capsule. This is actually mint packaging, and all of these have the same reverse, but there's so many different kinds. Oh my gosh. If you want a great resource, if you're into this vintage silver, check out all Engelhard, and they do more than just Engelhard. They do Johnson Matthey, they do Hoffman and Hoffman, they do Sunshine Mine or Minting, they do trade dollars, all that kinds of stuff. Also, another one to check out is Numista. And Numista, you would think, well, that's just coins. Well, it is, but they also have EXO, EXO Numista on there. And you can look up bars and rounds as well. All kinds of vintage stuff. Johnson Matthey also, that's like number 11, they say. Actually, that's what Sentu Georgie told me. Yeah, Johnson and Matthey, they made these, which a lot of people call them the Bill of Rights. I think they're just called the Freedom Rounds. But yeah, these are great. Freedom from slavery, freedom of assembly, the right to counsel. Such great depictions on here. The right to bear arms. Love that one. All of them, man. They're great. Freedom of the press, freedom of trial by jury, the right to privacy, freedom of speech, freedom to vote. Yeah. And freedom of religion, of course. And then they put this one out as well, which it says freedom, if you guys notice, just like that. Or that's the right. That's not the freedom, but the right. But there you go. And it was not included in this mint packaging. Picked that up. Really cool. Glad I did. I love Johnson Matthey stuff. And the back of that, of course, the American family there. There you go. We got these scales, which that's another rabbit hole. Oh, those trade dollars. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, scales are very, very popular in vintage silver. That's 1986, and they say these came out in about 1985, the Freedom coins by Johnson Matthey. Then we move on to A-marks. Oh my gosh, I love A-marks. Let's start with the ingots. Okay, so A-mark made these for lots of different people, and they also put their brand on the top as well. And these are called ingots. USVI, United States Virgin Island ingots by, well, there we go. They all have different like lot numbers, assay numbers. Yeah, super cool. I've got the Anaheim metals. Death from Below, Bottom Gun Bob sent me the more toned one. Thank you so much, Bob. Love this thing. Yeah, super cool pieces. They're shaped like a trapezoid, looking down at it. Yeah, really cool. Those are fun. That's A-mark. And A-mark didn't stop there. Oh, no, no, no. I'd love to collect these rounds. Oh, my gosh. A-mark rounds. Check it out. 1982. There you go. They all have this bell on the back. Very cool. Life, Liberty, Happiness. Love that A-mark. But they have years. They started in 82. I have 82, 83, 84, 85. I'm missing the 86. I have the 87. I've got the 88. I have the 89, and that's where they ended. So I need an 86. Anybody's got an 86? Email me, libertybleedsilver@gmail.com. That'd be awesome. I'd like to get one of those. Then they came out with these after 89. So this could be a 90 or all the way up till today. Yep, they still make these things. I picked this up. I thought I was getting vintage, but it's probably not vintage. This looks like maybe it's only 10 years old, if that. I don't even know. But yeah, they still make the Liberty A-mark, so you can get those for sure. The dated ones are the highly sought after. Then we move over to these. Okay, these. This is Hoffman and Hoffman. Oh, man, these are great. Love this piece. These are pretty rare. They're not as popular. And love the chamfered edge. It's kind of rounded over to the reed. Yeah, this one is actually less than 1,000 minted. Yep, the 1981 999 plus unicorn, less than 1,000 of those minted. Then we have this one, another Hoffman and Hoffman, which doesn't say Hoffman and Hoffman on it anywhere, but you can tell from the back. That's Hoffman and Hoffman. Again, 1981. This one, less than 500. Yep, the Flying Eagle, less than 500. And then this Hoffman and Hoffman, which I picked up from Silver Oceans in an auction, another great community member here in the Precious Metals community on YouTube. The 3-dot Polaris Hoffman and Hoffman, again, 81 and less than 500. So yeah, those are great. Then, okay, so that was Engelhard, Johnson Matthey, A-mark, Hoffman and Hoffman. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we get to this one. These, Stack That Gold loves this bar. He wants it really bad. Sunshine Mining. Yeah, great, great bar. Love that. Sunshine Bullion. Went through a bunch of different kind of name changes. They did become Sunshine Minting, but that's a whole crazy story. But there's lots of stories about all these vintage mints and the histories, what happened to them, who they became. It's very, very interesting. These are half ounces. I've got a 1984 Sunshine, and you'll see it says mining, not minting. There's no T in there. It's mining. Sunshine Mining, 1/2 Troy. And they actually, here's the 91. This is another half ounce. They actually change it. Look at the font. It's different on those. Yeah, a lot different. All the fonts are different, actually. Way different. There's, yeah, like I said, 84 and 91. And that one's more like a proof kind of finish. That one might have been. I don't know. But those are great. Love the half ouncers from Sunshine Mining. And then we've got the Millennium. So this is a 2000 Millennium. This is like when they changed over, I believe, around that year. They became Sunshine Minting. But there's also, in this year, I don't have one. This is Sunshine Mining, which is like almost identical coin. Or round. I'm sorry. Vintage round. That's the Millennium one. And then here we go. The 1982 1-ouncer. Beautiful piece. I love the, oh no, this is not a rolled edge. Somebody filed this off. Yeah, I picked this up and it actually got filed because they're supposed to have the reeded edge. Yeah. Anyways, I still like it. And yeah, it's Sunshine Mining. I'm sure they shaved off a little bit of silver, but whatever. Weirdos. 1982. And then We got another one, Sunshine Mining. Really nice example, 1989. It's like a proof look on the back. Oh my gosh, so crazy. 1989, love that. And then that's 5. So that would be, yep. We've got the Engelhard, we've got the Johnson Matthey, we have the A Marks, we have the Hoffman and Hoffmans, we have the Sunshine Mining, and then I've got an honorable mention here out of Anaheim, California. I was born in Fullerton and I grew up in Anaheim the first few years of my life. Rarities Mint. Yeah, man, these are cool. Now, this is actually a rolled edge. That's what it should look like. Big difference between someone filing it down. I didn't even notice it when I bought it, but you can see the file marks all over it, and the reeds are gone. But no, this is supposed to be a rolled edge. It's, perfectly machined. Great piece. Love the Rarities Mint. Yep, I'm always after these. Whenever I see them, I got to grab them. Great pieces. They actually made a lot of stuff for Disney and also the Warner Brothers. Yeah, Rarities Mint, real close to where I was living at that time in my life in the 80s when they were making this stuff there in Anaheim. Super cool. And finally, no, not finally, I've got one more over here too. But here's an extra rabbit hole. So that was a category 6. And then here's the extra rabbit hole. These are called trade dollars. And they all have scales on them. Well, that's how I denote a trade dollar. Well, no, they'll say it on there too usually. But I think that's Lecter Mint. There's so many different mints and varieties and styles and types of these. It's crazy. Yeah, you can, it's a serious rabbit hole, y'all. Some are dated 1974. I've got 2 of those at 1974. Yeah, man. International trade dollars. Super cool. Love the scales. Parliament. There's so many. It's crazy, y'all. You could get lost in these things. Well, that's actually a Universario, but very similar. I also have a Silverado around somewhere. Hoffman and Hoffman actually used this back on one of their coins. This is not a Hoffman and Hoffman, but so cool. 1974. Yeah, vintage silver, you guys. It's fun. It's awesome. They even make copies. But even with the copy, they put, see that? Trade dollars, silver trade unit, trade dollars, all pretty much the same kind of thing. And then the honorable mention before we finish out. Thank you guys for hanging out this long. You're awesome. If you have hung out this long, please type in Mark Rocks. Yeah, Mark Rocks, because Mark sent me this for Christmas. And why do I have this out? Well, because this is by the American Pacific Mint, and the only other APM piece I have, which is so cool. Love that. But I figured out, I learned he didn't know who made this, which mint made it. And I found it online, did some research, and it is the American Pacific Mint. Thank you so much, Mark. 1983, year I graduated. So cool, dude. The Flying Screaming Eagle, 10 stars. And yeah, that's American Pacific Mint, one world trade unit. So there's my honorable mention. Mark, you rock. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. And most of all, stay shiny, y'all. Peace out. Later. Oh, I just started putting everything away, and I forgot to tell you guys. Let's make this a challenge. Yeah, please, y'all. Show me your top 5 vintage silvers if you're into collecting them. And if not, I hope this inspired you to maybe get some vintage silver. Later, y'all. Ciao.